who's the person that's actually figuring out these evaluations on players? Like,
that's a really good question, dude.
Look at what is the Manning's?
Not Cooper.
The Manning, whatever he is.
Yeah.
When they say he's worth $1 million, right? Prior, like, I don't know what deals he has in place, but who is the person that's making that decision to say this is what he's worth?
Right now, it's like crypto. Crypto is worth whatever we think it's worth.
Right.
Yeah. A real business is based off of metrics, revenue,
profit,
EBITDA, profit. Right. So again, I think this NIL space is still trying to define itself
because it's so new.
Because it's so new.
It's a startup.
It's crypto.
So as a parent, right? How do I negotiate that? Like, so how do I say?
Do you push
my kid? No. So my kid is. So you guys are telling me my kid is worth $1.2 million, right? Now, how do you think, just arbitrarily, like, how do you think that equates into the decision of my kid going to Tennessee or USC?
So I think from an NIL perspective, there's two things that we're looking at. We're looking at the value of the kid on the field.
Yeah.
Right. So donors and like how much can this kid actually bring to the university?
Yeah,
and then therefore, how much is he worth? Right. But if you look at it from like an influencer standpoint, Desi Banks, social media comedian.
Yeah. Oh, the comedian. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If you look at Desi Banks, he has 4 million followers on Instagram. It's pretty easy for Desi Banks to say, hey, based off of the amount of followers I have, if you want me to promote or market a product for you,
this is the price.
This is the price, right?
Yeah.
And so there's two sides of this puzzle for athletes. One side is getting figured out, which is what's my on-the-field value. Mm-hmm. The other side has already been kind of figured out. Like, if I have 250,000 followers, I'm probably 10 times more valuable than somebody who has 25,000.
And then, JR, the other way I look at it is there's data behind whose jersey's being sold now. And it's the name on the back of the jersey, too. And there's UPCs getting scanned to saying J.R. Tolver jersey just sold. Another one just sold. And, like, that's how they knew Colin Kaepernick's jersey was the highest grossing jersey in the NFL at one point, right?
Right.
And it's no different in the NIL space. So you have that, and then you have your appearances, and then you have your production on the field. Because if you're winning, your NIL goes way up.
100%.
And let's say you're going to a major bowl game, it goes way up. And that doesn't even count the social part of it.
So wait, real quick, I love that you said that, because therein lies the difference, like when you're playing for a professional team versus college, right?
Yep.
What he just described is that, hey, when I go to the Nikes, et cetera, I have these contracts. When I go to a team, there's contracts, a bargaining agreement. The NCAA is going to have to figure that part out, right? Because you described it perfectly. I signed a Tennessee quarterback. I signed for, well, not signed for, but my NIL came in at a certain level.
Yep.
Now we win the championship, it goes up. So it's like, now, fam, all right, if you want to keep me, for real, no, if you want to keep me, like, yo, what's that dotted, the bottom line look like? It got to go up now. It's nothing but up.
Absolutely.
So how is that going to play?
Art. Think about it, right?
Yeah,
like,
how's that going to play in the college space of, like, yo, I was playing here for 1 year. Now we could probably create a super team. Like, best quarterback, best wide receiver,
Hit
and
the transfer
running back.
portal.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's worth what somebody's willing to pay for it.
It is. All right. And then, you get into the conversation about, winning and, like, what's the value that you put on winning? Like, let's say, and we keep using the Tennessee analogy of, let's say you were 500 and then this quarterback comes in, and now you're 10-2, and you're at the Cotton Bowl, and you were the starting quarterback. You can project your not project hey the number, but you can say this is what I'm worth.
Man, Damo, better
I know who you're gonna bring him up.
Example: Johnny Manziel.
What? Not even that. What about Deshaun Watson? I hate to bring him up because what's going on right now, but Deshaun Watson is like a perfect example of that, right?
No, killer.
You think Johnny Manziel?
Better.
But he didn't win a bowl.
Yes, he did.
Did
when
he?
Johnny Manziel beat Alabama. When Texas A&M beat Alabama. When they were calling Johnny Manziel
Money Manziel.
Johnny Football.
I thought it was Money Manziel, but
No, they were calling
That was his moniker, but it was Johnny Football.
Got it.
But when at Texas A&M, they called that kid Johnny Football.
Mm-hmm.
At Texas A&M, and he came in. He wasn't nowhere near a 5-star athlete, was he?
No, 3,
3-star.
3,
athlete.
4.
Yeah.
Comes in there, ends up starting, beats Alabama. Now, as you said, the stock goes up, and the exposure. They were talking about the amount of money that Johnny Manziel jerseys were earning while he was at
one of the biggest stadiums in college football.
In one of the most crazed football communities in the entire country.
The original 12,
1,000%.
And one of the richest states in the country.
Yo, Johnny Manziel's story is the best story in terms of how you want to connect NIL to an athlete in terms of what, because in Texas, even in the state of Texas at high school, that kid was a legend.
Yeah,
absolutely. And that's a great analogy.
Great analogy.
Can we fact check the Johnny Manziel star situation? Can we get one of your daughters to,
or anybody,
somebody Google?
Yeah, can you go?
Google
Mike,
Johnny Manziel.
Mike, Google
Mike.
Yeah. Johnny Manziel star.
It's like,
fact check.
So,
like, was he a 3-star or something?
I think so. We're talking about NIL on the surface as an individual, and there's NIL as an umbrella, and there's something really important about NIL as an umbrella and how it's gonna push the way that college sports exist.
Yeah.
And let me give you one example. Or 2 examples. I'm going to give you like 2 sides of the spectrum. Hey, coach, you made $8 million this year? Well, I made 10. You can't tell me shit, right? That's an extreme.
That is.
Right? And like I think
and
about
will
like
happen, though.
It will happen. I guarantee you. I guarantee it'll happen. And then the other side, actually there's 3 sides. The other side is in the locker room and how, it's like, Mr. Quarterback, hey, dude, you're eating ramen noodles. I'm going to Ruth Chris every night, right?
Oh, yeah.
And then the other side of it is your family. And what do you, like, how do you tell, you're 18, 19, 20 years old, how do you say no to your family that's done everything for you up to this point? And like you have, to JR's point, you have $800,000 coming in. You're not thinking about taxes and liabilities at 18 and 19 years old. And then next thing you know, you're in an MC Hammer situation.
No, absolutely.
And you owe taxes out the ass. So how do you navigate all those situations? And I know, and
I'm asking me.
No.
That's a complicated question.
No.
That was he threw a lot at you.
I'm not looking.
You're just
for
saying as a discussion.
Just a discussion of how you look. And there's probably even more use cases. Those are the ones that just came to my head.
You're spot on.
Well, that's
but that's what happens in the league if you think about it.
It does.
Right?
It does.
The exact same thing, except for now, everything that you just described, which usually happens to the 21, 22, 23-year-old draft pick, is now going to happen to this 17, 18, 19-year-old kid.
Absolutely.
So,
and I think
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. That's difficult. Like this, so that's the trade-off, right? That's what we've asked for on the other side because it was so lopsided towards the university. Now we're in this wild, wild west of like, okay, what the hell is NIL? And no, you're right though. You got to deal with it, and it's like there has to be, you're going to have to find those regulations and rules on what that looks like moving forward.
Yeah, and JR, I would love for you to give us like 2 or 3 tips. Like, let's say there's a kid watching this, and they have the potential to have an NIL opportunity. What's 2 or 3 things that you would tell them to say, hey, watch out for these things, or make sure you take care of these things?
I mean, the first thing I tell guys and gals that I'm working with is delineate, separate, draw a hard line between your business and your personal.
It's hard.
No, it's not.
It's actually coming because of your business.
It's actually easy.
But that work is coming because of your business.
But you got to do it, right? So what does that mean? Like, how do I draw a line between my business and my personal? If you're going to make NIL money, let's say you don't have an LLC.
Okay.
Open up a separate bank account. Drop that check in that separate bank account.
But are groupies personal or business?
There he is. There he is.
Man, what we talking about?
Is that work personal or business?
I think it depends on the location.
Hey, but listen, I'm going to give you a very technical answer. And if you're watching this as a kid, I want you to understand this, right? So the IRS doesn't tell us what's personal or business. This is what they tell us. And if you don't believe me, Google Section 162 IRS tax code.
Oh, he flexing.
Throw it.
I know what I'm doing over here.
It says anything that's ordinary, necessary, and reasonable for your business is tax deductible.
Oh, so I can write off.
You can't.
Hey,
They can.
That's part of your business, man. So you can write them out.
So check it out.
No, JR, go deeper on it. Go deeper.
I'm not going to call them groupies, but if you using women
Escorts.
to elevate your brand, that becomes an expense of your business.
Fellas, you can write them.
No, that's not what he said.
I did not say that.
Hey, and Courtney, just so you know.
Hey, throw them in a commercial with a couple pom-poms. Yeah, you're good. You can write
Courtney,
that off, yo.
Just so you know, cash transactions don't work.